Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Seven Figure Seller Summit. Today we have a very special live training, how to increase profitability for your Amazon business. I'm super excited to bring back my friend Yoni Mazur from Getida. How's it going, Yoni?
Excellent. How's everything?
Good, good. Yeah. So Yoni gave a great talk during the summit, talking about how to increase profitability on your Amazon business. Talking a lot of times, people may be leaving money on the table with reimbursements. So that's why I thought that it would be good because, at the end of the day, it's not just your top line number, building a seven-figure business. A lot of times people overlook the bottom line. So that's why I really wanted to get Yoni back and then involved. All right. So before we get started, because we are live, I just want to make sure everybody can see and hear us. So if you can see and hear us, could you please type your name and where you're watching from in the chat, just so that we know who's here. Okay. And then also thank you guys that did pre-submit questions, and we'll get to the questions after the presentation. And at the same time, Yoni prepared a bonus session for today. So he'll have a second presentation for today. If you guys have any questions during the presentation, feel free to just drop it in the chat, and then we'll try to get to it as soon as we can. All right. So before we begin, we'll just wait for people to come in. And Yoni, how's everything going on your side? Are you still in New Jersey now?
Still in New Jersey. Things are picking up. I heard a rumor on the streets that the restaurants are gonna be they're already open and you can sit outside, but it's getting a bit colder now. September's kicking in, so we're gonna be able to eat in restaurants indoor, which is it's like a milestone, if you
Yeah.
can say. But and the malls are open, playgrounds are open, gyms are open, so it's the best it can be, since the beginning of the craziness. So we're thankful for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a step in the right direction. And then on my side, I took some time to recharge after the summit. It was a handful. I think everyone really enjoyed it. We had over 3,000 people watch, so that was good. But this week in Japan, it was something new for us because a Category 3 typhoon hit us on Monday night, Typhoon Maysak.
Oh
And
man,
yeah, there was like 100
what's the
mile
name?
an hour
Maysak.
Maysak, Maysak. I don't know if I'm mispronouncing it, but it hit us.
Sounds brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, fortunately, we didn't have any damage, but it was just very noisy with the wind, and like it kind of like Harrison had a hard time sleeping through the night, and my wife had to, take one for the team and be with him. So I had to take over baby duty the next day. So doing our best over here, but I mean, overall, we're safe and healthy, so we're blessed. So that's great. And
Right.
if you guys can see us, that would be great if you can drop a chat. And I do see Tusef from Sydney, Australia. Welcome, Tusef. Good to see you. Okay, and Dennis from UK. Great to see you as well. All right. So now that everyone can see, why don't I turn things over to Yoni? I know you have a great presentation for us. Would you like to share your screen?
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's pick the right screen and present. There we go. Can you see it?
Beautiful.
All right. So I mentioned this to Gary before we became live. Anybody has any questions? I encourage you either to write a question and ask. The more you ask, and the more Gary can stop me with the questions, and we can answer them. Hopefully, you'll get the better value, and it's gonna customize this whole content to your needs. Um, so welcome to the bonus round of the presentation on how to minimize Amazon fees and maximize your profits. If you watched my presentation during the Seven Figure Sales Summit and enjoyed it, I thank you for that, and you invested your time, and hopefully it was useful for you. This bonus round really, includes more examples and ways and tactics on how to minimize on fees and avoid them altogether. That's also an option. So we're gonna touch that very, very quickly. If I'm new to you or Getida is new to you, the whole thing's new to you, and the first time you're kind of watching our presentations, so I'll give you a little bit of a context, who Getida, what Getida is. What's Getida, or is it Getida? Is it Getida? It doesn't really matter. It's an acronym. It stands for Get IDA, which stands for Get Intelligent Data Analytics. Essentially, we're a technology company. We have a bunch of popular services, but the most popular service that we're famous for is auditing for Amazon refunds or reimbursements. We believe in maximizing the recovery, and we try to make it very simple. So it's tailored to simplicity. We consider ourselves a global leader in FBA auditing and reimbursements because we simply audit Amazon accounts from all over the world. We can do Amazon Australia, Amazon Japan, Amazon Europe, and of course Amazon US. So we play on a global level. We are an award-winning company. We won the gold award from the American Business Awards for our dashboard technology. We do have a dedicated team of claim specialists. A big part of them are ex-Amazon employees who used to work in the Amazon FBA reimbursements department. So they always make sure that we're compliant and we know what we're looking for and how to deal with the issues and reconcile problems. We actually track and monitor our recovery rate. So for every our recovery rate is more than 70%. So for every 4 cases that we're going to open on your behalf on your Amazon account, more than 3 cases will get reimbursed. You're going to actually get money back from Amazon. And we believe in creating affordable solutions for all sellers because our model is based on what we call PPR, pay per reimbursement. To join Gatita is absolutely free. You don't pay a dime. You don't pay a penny. We don't charge a subscription. We don't charge a monthly fee. We only charge a fee, a recovery fee, a 25% recovery fee if we're successful. If we're not successful, you pay zero. So it makes it very affordable for any sellers of any size and any stage, whether you just started or you're an enterprise seller doing over 200 million a year, which we do have customers like that. So keep learning, keep advancing yourself, you'll grow. This is an amazing industry to be a part of, e-commerce and selling on Amazon. If you're wondering where you can find us, of course, you can visit getita.com or getidea.com, but also you can visit Amazon Seller Central. We're actually in the App Store. We're an authorized service provider on Amazon's App Store, so you can find us there as well. It's a great tip for you, anybody listening to this or watching this. It's a great tip for you to know that if you're looking for any kind of software solution or technology solutions for your Amazon account, a good place to go and vet them and know that they're legit is go to the App Store and see if they're authorized by Amazon. If they're there, that's a good start. If they're not there, maybe a little better to avoid and try to play with the pros. Okay, without further ado, here's the first tip for you guys. Obviously, hopefully, if you're watching this, you sell on Amazon and you use FBA. So there's a way to save on fees. And there's FBA types of fees that maybe you guys are familiar, maybe not. In case you're not, or even if you are, this is kind of to this part of the presentation is really to raise your awareness about these types of fees. So Amazon calls it manual processing fees or FBA manual processing fees. Usually, I don't know if it's maybe a little too blurry or not. Gary, if it's too blurry, let me know. I can read it. Actually, let me just read it and that's it. It says optional service fees. It's an estimate, but it says FBA manual processing fees. For this actual example, it shows $49. Amazon partners carry your shipping cost, $27. Labeling and prep, calculate. So usually when you're kind of dealing with your shipment and you're preparing it, you'll be able to track and monitor how much they're going to estimate in charging you with all these fees. So if you didn't know they're charging you fees, this is the moment you realize they are. So pay attention to that and see how much they're charging you fees. And just if they are charging you fees or they're about to charge you fees, there's ways to avoid the fees. And here, let's touch a few examples of the types of the fees that there are. And if you can avoid it, do something about it. If you cannot avoid it, pay the toll, pay the fee, and move on. But here's the first type of fee. The first one is what they call polybagging. That's usually for clothing. So if you see here, there's a picture of a shirt. It's a nice shirt. You can ship it to Amazon to the warehouse without a poly bag or without nylon or without a cover. Once to get it, they said this is not good for us. This is going to be in a warehouse. Warehouse maybe could get dirty or dusty. For these types of items, we require poly bagging to put a bag around it. So what they're going to do simply, they're going to put a bag around it. They're going to charge you a fee. I don't know, if, maybe 10 cents, 20 cents, depends on the size and stuff like that. So you need to be aware of that. So if you see, prepping fees and they say poly bagging, so you have two options: either let Amazon do it and pay the fee, or just do it yourself. Or if you work with the factory, let the factory do it for you, right? So it's probably going to be much cheaper if you let your Chinese or any factory that you source around the world to deal with the poly bagging for you. It's going to cost you not even pennies probably. But if you let Amazon do it, it might cost you 10 cents a bag, 15 cents a bag, which is outrageous for a little piece of nylon, right? So that's kind of the first type of fee. Be aware of it. Another type of fee sounds silly, but they do. They simply charge for it. They call it taping. They take a little tape, scotch tape, and they tape the products. Okay, so these kind of products is items with box sleeves. So over here you'll see a picture of the iPhone comes with like a sleeve. Usually it comes when you buy it, it comes with already with some polybagging or some, or like shrink wrap. But imagine if it didn't have it, right? And then when you open it, there's a sleeve, right? Imagine you ship a product that has like, it's like that. It goes to Amazon, it only has a sleeve, and therefore things can just fall and move. So essentially, the only way for Amazon and the warehouse to prevent it from moving or shifting is put a little tape, and then it becomes stable. So once again, once you're preparing the shipment, they're going to kind of alert you on this type of fee, and that there's a requirement to do that. So if you want to let Amazon do it, once again, that little piece of tape will cost you 10, 15 cents, or sky's the limit, right? But if you simply are aware of it and put a tape yourself, or once again, when you produce your products and send it to Amazon, keep in mind, don't let anything be loose. That's the best practice. So always shrink wrap or put a poly bag or make sure things are tight. And once again, once you create the shipment, try to be attentive to all the type of fees that they might charge you, and that's going to be an opportunity to do something about it yourself with much lower cost than letting Amazon do it for you and pay a high fee. And another type of fee, which this one can actually be dramatic, and the next slide is going to touch more about it, is missing box content information. Okay, so I'm going to click to the next slide and let's touch it for a second. Towards the last part of creating the shipment, you'll see that I enlarge it. It's usually over here, but I enlarge it. It says FBA manual processing fee. It says essentially what happens is when you ship your products to FBA, Amazon would like to know exactly which units are coming, how many units are coming, and how many boxes, and what's exactly in each box. So they call it box content. Okay, so during the last days of the shipment, they're going to tell you, okay, tell us for each box how many ASIN, which ASINs, and how many units. They expect you to do it. If you do it, you're good. They're not going to charge you any fee. If you don't do it, and they're going to have to basically receive the shipment and kind of reconcile everything for you, they're going to charge you a flat fee of 10 cents per unit. Okay, and this is normal times of the year. From January all the way to the end of October, they're going to charge you 10 cents a unit. Nevertheless, in November, December, Christmas season, the holiday shopping season, they're going to charge you 15 cents a unit. So let's do some math. You send them 1,000 units of your item, they're going to charge you 15 cents a unit. They're going to charge you $150 for really nothing, just because you didn't tell them what's coming in. Or if you're sending 10,000 units, it's going to be $1,500. You're sending in 100,000 units, okay, it's going to be $15,000, because it's per unit. You're just paying all those fees. So it's better to be aware of this, and do what you got to do to provide the content, the box content. Amazon has like a little module where you can play with it, but there's also an Excel file you can do it. You can do it on a template level. But here's a little tip, I guess, for you guys. Anybody wants. I'm gonna touch a little bit what my experience. Right now I'm the co-founder and COO of Gatira. We're a service company and a technology company. But before that, I was actually an Amazon seller in my division that I run. We were doing more than $20 million a year on Amazon. And this is actually a tool that we use to create the box content. It's called Box T. So if you Google Box T, you'll find this tool. Basically, as you put your units into the boxes, you scan all the units, and this software is already connected to your Amazon account, and it tells you. You scan your item, you put it into the box, and then you want to close the box. You tell the software, okay, I finished the box. It tells you, okay, you finished the box, and it's gonna create a 2D barcode label. Okay, that's a special kind of label that you're gonna be able to print, put it on the box, and when Amazon gets it, they're gonna scan that label and they're gonna know exactly what's in it. So it makes the experience much easier, and makes it really brainless. You just scan products into the boxes. Once you're finished with the box, you tell the software, it creates a label for you. You don't have to deal with any templates or sheets or anything like that. It costs like 20, 25 bucks a month. Very affordable, very useful, saved a ton of time and money and just headaches. So if you need, that's just a tip for you. It's a shout out for the Box Tea. I don't even know who's behind the company, but I refer a lot of people to them. So I wish them a lot of business success and that they make a lot of money. Okay.
Yoni, can I interrupt and ask a quick question about that Box
Tea?
Yeah, this is very interesting because with this box content 2D label, it kind of sounds like it can automate this process, if I'm understanding that correctly. So like, how would that work? If I'm having my Chinese factory package my order, they're putting like 12 units in a box. What do they do? Do they like scan something with their phone, or like how does that work?
Yeah, so they usually, what we had in the warehouse back in the day, maybe today it's more advanced, but we had the computer or the laptop with the laser scanner. You scan it, okay, and it knows, because you're working on the shipment. So actually, what happened, what was interesting, is that let's say you're supposed to ship only, let's say 100 units of this item, right? So the moment you actually reach 100, and then you're about to put some more, it tells you, it puts you like a red light. Don't Don't stop. You have more than you need.
Okay.
Or if you're about to close a shipment, it tells you, hey, hold on. You're supposed to have all in 500 units, but it seems like we only have 493. There's 7 units missing. So, like you said, it just streamlines the whole event. You don't have to think.
Cool.
All you got to do is just scan, and then it kind of gives you an idea and it gives you visibility of exactly what's going on. So
Excellent.
in real time, you know what's going on. And of course,
Yeah.
once everything's all set and ready, you send to Amazon. They have the information, and you avoid all the fees altogether. So it's a good point. It actually helps you to reconcile and streamline your operation even before it reaches the Amazon, so you know the discrepancies on the spot. So if the factory said, "Oh, we did a production 5,000 units," but once you scan it in and they use box C, they realize, "Oh, you guys only shipped 4,500. You actually you undersourced or underproduced 500 units, so you don't already know it on the sourcing level." That's a good point.
Right.
Appreciate that.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and just for the people watching, a quick recap on Yoni's previous slide. Talking about the avoiding the manual processing fees. For like a poly bag, for like tape, for FNSKU labels. I have all of this done by my Chinese supplier, and most of the time they do it for free. They'll do a poly bag for you. They'll print out the FNSKU label. They'll slap it on. Amazon charges like 30 cents just for the FNSKU barcode last time I checked. So, I mean, you're saving a ton of money by just working with your supplier. So definitely I agree with Yoni, definitely avoid the FBA manual processing fee. There's no reason for you to pay these fees, especially, if you have your supplier do it. So this is excellent, Yoni. Let's keep going. And a quick shout out to Trisha Watts. Great to see you from Melbourne, and Mofo Lake from UK. I know it's late over there, so welcome. Glad you could join us. All right.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to drop in the chat, and then I'll hand it back to Yoni. Let's keep going. This is great stuff.
One more thing I would like to stand out or highlight here is that you pay all these fees before you even sold a unit. So, it's very painful. It's not like you sold it and then they charge you a fee. This is before you sold, anything. So better to avoid it altogether. Because imagine if eventually you don't even sell it, it really increases your cost. So, all right, here's another type of fee that you guys should be aware about. And I recommend anybody watching this, do a checkup just to make sure. Okay, this is something you definitely want to avoid. This is what Amazon calls FBA placement service option. So before I touch the actual example, let me explain the context of what's going on. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you ship stuff to FBA, there's kind of 2 options for you, right? High level. First one is what you want to avoid is they tell you ship it in bulk into this one warehouse. Let's say California, for example. Ship all the stuff to California, whatever it is, or you don't have to split anything. Send it to one place. And once we get it, we're going to split it to Kentucky, New York, Connecticut, wherever they want. So this is called a placement service, okay? They're going to replace it. That's the first option. And if they're going to replace it for you, they're going to charge you a ton of money, okay? A few dollars per unit to do that, okay? It could be $1, $2, or $3, or $4. It depends on the weight and dimension, stuff like that. And the other option, of course, you tell Amazon, tell me where to send it, so I'll split it. So you send some to California, some to New York. You do it yourself. So you already, you trickle it down into Amazon's warehouses. So that's the 2 options for you. The most recommended one is the second option, okay, where you split it yourself and ship it out like that. And this is how you actually do the checkup on your account to see what the status of your account is and if you have it set on the right status or not. So of course you go to settings, fulfillment by Amazon. Then over here it's called inventory placement option. See number 2. Then you click on edit. It's gonna be more here on the right, but I pushed the button a little to the left so you can see it. Okay. And then you're going to see that this is where you want to be. You want to be on the default setting. By default, Amazon has your account set up where you tell them, okay, I want to ship 1,000 units. They're going to tell you where to split it. This is where you want to avoid. If you see it on the bottom one, the bottom option, inventory placement service, red flag, change it. Put it back where it is and then click on update, okay? Of course, the clear disadvantages of placement service option is, first of all, it's going to take actually longer for your inventory to be in stock, which is a pain, right? You want your inventory to be on the market as soon as possible so you can keep rolling things. So when you actually do this product placement service, it's going to take more time for your units to actually arrive to Amazon. And of course, you're going to have to pay for that luxury much, much higher than if you do it yourself. So it's kind of a double negative. Better to avoid it and be aware of it and, cut it from the roots, from the stem. Okay. The next thing is to be aware of is weight and dimensions, okay, and especially the weight and dimension thresholds, okay, because the fees that Amazon charges, most of the fees that Amazon charges, or many types of fees Amazon charges on FBAs, depending on your weight and dimension, okay, the size and the weight of your product. So obviously, the larger the dimension is, and the larger the weight is, the more you're going to pay. So this presentation here, or this slide here, is just to give you an illustration of the differences, what kind of impact it can have, between the spectrum between the minimum fee or the top fee. So if your product is on the minimum level, you're going to pay $2.50 for pick and pack. This is a pick and pack fee. So pick and pack fee is when Amazon picks your unit from the bin, packages in a box, and ships it out. Okay, so the entry level fee is about $2.50. Okay, this is for a small standard size item, which is 10 ounces or less, okay, and less than a pound. So that's your entry point. And of course, there's thresholds. There's all these brackets. But let's say your item is really in this size, and you're supposed to pay 250, and for whatever reason, the information on your ASIN, okay, and of the weight and the weight and dimension information is incorrect. Somebody changed your data, or for whatever reason, and then now they're charging you as if your item is actually oversized. Okay, and it could be $137.32 per unit that you will pay in pick and pack fees. And we've seen these examples happen. You try to sell a product for $20 or $30, right? It's under a pound, under 10 inches. Amazon's supposed to charge you only $2.50, but for whatever reason, the information in Amazon system is incorrect, and they're charging you $137. So every time you make a sale, you actually lose money. Amazon charges you and wipes you out. Okay, these examples are extreme, but they're available. They can happen. Of course, this is on the extreme case, but imagine they're charging you 263 or 331. So they're overcharging you. All these dollars and pennies add up. So you sold 1,000 units or 10,000 units or 100,000 units throughout the year, and you got overcharged by 20 cents or a dollar or $2. It racks up. It just so better to avoid it altogether. So it's very important that you guys are aware of this threshold. And if you want to actually get to the place where you see the whole menu, you go to sellessential.amazon.com/gp/help, and then /g201-1112-670. Boom, you land on it, and then you do your homework and see what your product's weight dimension is, where are you supposed to be on the bracket, and then you can do a checkup on your ASINs. And if you're not in the bracket, you got to take some action and do something about it. Sorry, Gary, it seems like you had a question.
Yeah. No, this is a really good point. I just wanted to add, because this has actually happened with one of the products that I sold before on Amazon. It was categorized in the small tier, and sometimes once we inbound the shipment to Amazon FBA, they may mismeasure it, or something happens, and then they would classify us into the large tier. So going from small to large, that was like another dollar or something, that in Amazon fees, that was excessive. So only, when I really scrutinized, I went back to look at the fees, I realized that error. And then, I manually, opened a case, and I asked them, can you please remeasure? Ours is definitely in the small. It should be this measurement, it should not be that. And, through that, I was able to get that back. But if I didn't check that, then I would have, lost $1 on every unit I was selling. And then, over time, that's like thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, that's going into Jeff Bezos's pocket, and he doesn't need any more money. So I think that, being smart, like these tips, like what Yoni is offering, or, using software like Katita that can do this for you, it can be very valuable, especially because I know you guys are busy. I'm busy. Sometimes I miss this, so that's why, this really affects our bottom line with our Amazon business. So this is good stuff, Yoni. Let's keep going.
Thank you. Yeah, of course, you guys are working extremely hard to create your business, create your products, generate all this revenue, all this stuff. And if you did so, you're successful. I salute you. It's amazing. But there's so many pockets, I call it like pockets of resistance, or these types of fees that can just get into the way of maximizing or optimizing what's available for you out there. So that's really the purpose of our message. It's a very strong message of you're successful, you brought something to the market, you generated sales. Awesome. But you need to enjoy the maximum potential that it has in terms of trickling down to your profits, your pocket, the bottom line, because essentially that's what you're working for. You're not just working to create millions of dollars of revenue on Amazon, which is cool, because I met a lot of Amazon revenue millionaires. When they dive into the numbers, into the books, they actually realize, oh man, I'm actually losing money. I'm losing X amount of dollars a year. I'm making 5 million, 6 million, 7 million, but thinking I'm being wiped out because all these fees and in between that's going on, I wasn't aware of, I wasn't attentive to, I was just reckless, and they realized that, so they're losing money. So either they were able to get out of the hole or they shut down the business completely. I've been in this industry almost a decade, and I've seen it happen. So,
Yeah,
awareness is very, very important, and this is the moment that hopefully this is like a wake up call. I shake you, no matter what stage you are in the game. There's ways to optimize your profits.
for sure. And just quick note, one of my friends, seven-figure seller, um, Dave Bryant, he has this saying, revenues are vanity and profits are sanity, right? Revenues are vanity and profits are sanity. So at the end of the day, you want to keep saying you want to make sure you're profitable. Yoni, we had a question about inventory placement. Do you want to take this now or do you want to wait till the end?
I want to take it now. I want you guys to get the answers that you actually have,
Okay.
the questions in your mind. Yeah.
Okay. So Facebook user, sorry, we don't see your name. Do you recommend selecting inventory placement or not? What do you say, Yoni?
So I recommend, listen, if you have to do, you have to do it. But I recommend avoiding it altogether. It takes more time for your items or inventory to get to FBA. Plus, you're gonna be charged or an arm and a leg to do so. So I suggest, I advise against it. Just make sure you're on the default setting where it says distributed inventory placement, where meaning you actually do the distribution. You want to send 1,000 units. Amazon tells you, okay, send 300 units to California, another 300 to Connecticut, another 400 to Kentucky. That's where you want to be. Okay. This is
Right.
what I warmly recommend.
Right.
And
And
I paid
then,
for that. Just, I paid. I have a
mhm,
lot of scars. It used to be a time, oh, you could just send to one place. I was distracted. I saw two options. Because over here, they don't really tell you about all the fees, that's kind of behind it or the amount of fees. So like, oh, that's awesome. Instead of splitting it all the time, send it in bulk. We did it for a few months. Then we did an audit. Oh my God, so much money, tens of thousands of dollars. I was almost crying. So from my
yeah.
experience, try to avoid it. If you have extra cash to spare and you want to indulge yourself, and it's an option for you.
Yeah, definitely. And then one of the ways to try to get all of your Amazon shipments placed into one fulfillment center. I mean, it's not 100%, and I don't know if you've done this before, but with when we're creating a new shipment, with the ship from address, rather than putting like the factory in China's address, we would use like our freight forwarder's warehouse in Los Angeles, somewhere close to Ontario, like ONT8. That's one of the biggest Amazon fulfillment centers. And then, sometimes it works. So like we create a new shipment and then they let us go 100% into that one. Just like physically, it's so close away, so close to it that they get that. So
Yeah,
that's one tip. But
that's a brilliant
yeah,
tip. So if I get this correctly, you're saying, it doesn't matter where I'm at in the world. I'm gonna tell Amazon I'm shipping it like a block away from their warehouse. So they're gonna tell me, oh, just ship it all here. We'll take care of it, right?
yeah. I'm not saying that you should lie about your address
No,
because
no.
our
Listen, you
freight
can rent.
forwarder.
No, you can
Yeah,
rent. You can
yeah,
rent. I'm sure if you
yeah,
want, you can rent it for I don't know, $100 a year. You rent an
yeah,
address in Ontario and right next to them. It's not an issue. I'm not
yeah,
saying like cheat or lie. Obviously,
yeah,
because
yeah.
of course, if some of the products come back, you want somebody there to be responsible for it. So you can
Right.
do that, or you can just
Yeah,
contact the 3PL. Tell them, listen, I'm going
yeah,
to pay you for this address, $99 a year. If I have anything bounces back, I'm your client. Tell me about it so I can send it back to Amazon or whatever. But yeah, do
right.
legit. 100% do legit.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good tip. Okay. And then follow up, I believe it's from Two-Step, the same person. Also, with inventory placement, you are not eligible for Amazon Prime, correct? I th- I think there may be a little misunderstanding here. I mean, if I'm understanding correctly, Two-Step inventory placement, we're talking about when you inbound the shipment, let's say from your factory into the Amazon warehouse, not when you have the shipment fulfilled when your customer buys like one of your units. So we're talking
Correct.
about
Strictly
moving it into the
FBA.
warehouse.
Strictly, yeah,
Yeah,
we're
strictly
talking about
FBA.
strictly fulfillment of Amazon, where you, the seller, you give Amazon the full responsibility to ship the product to the consumers, to the clients, to the customers. So you take all your inventory, you ship it into Amazon's warehouses so Amazon can deal with it. So we're talking about the stage where you actually ship it to Amazon's warehouses. That's the stage we're talking about. So instead of
Right.
shipping it in bulk in one warehouse and then Amazon will store it and split it in different warehouses and then ship it to the consumers, we're saying, choose the option where you want to send to Amazon. Amazon will tell you, what, we want you to, split it between a bunch of warehouses. And once Amazon gets in the warehouses, that's a final destination on Amazon's warehouse level. And once the orders come in from the consumers and customers, then Amazon will ship it to the consumers. I hope I gave the breakdown in such a detailed manner where you can understand the nuance and the context.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I hope that makes sense too, Seth. If you have any other questions, please feel free to follow up. And I like just to keep going for the interest of time. So, Yoni, would you like to keep
Yeah, go
going?
ahead. Yeah, so
Yeah.
in terms of winning dimensions, we just saw the chart, so you know where to find it, you know the nuance. But once again, I don't know if anybody ever experiences, but usually when you ship your items to FBA for the first time, it kind of looks like this. And once you see this, this is your holy moment where you don't mess this up. You tell them exactly, when shipping to FBA for the first time, make sure to enter this info accurately, right? So they're gonna ask you what is the weight and the dimension of this product. So don't just write 30, 30, 30, whatever, and try to get, just because the reason is because if you don't put the information, Amazon's not going to let you go to the next step of the shipment. So some sellers are like, I'm going to rush it. They just throw these numbers inside, and that might strike them heavily later and penalize them. So, when this is the moment they ask you, that's the moment you take a moment, you do the actual measuring, you put the correct information, and of course, don't put any information which is higher than the weight and dimension because you're going to be overpaying. Okay, so that was a quick round of a bunch of tips, but here's kind of a bonus round if you like. Some of you saw this in the past. If not, it's another opportunity for you. This is a free template. This is a free tool that we're offering out there for sellers. You can visit getita.com/profit, and this is a profit and loss template that you can use, which you're gonna be able to customize to your needs. Because me throwing tips at you and strategies at you is one thing, but if you don't really have a good tool to track and monitor all the expenses that's in your business. Of course, you're gonna track and monitor all your sales, all the revenue you're generating, but you're gonna have to calculate everything in between, especially when it comes to expenses. So you can see your profit and loss, right? So you have all these entries here. You can have Amazon sales, other channel sales, even wholesale, right? Total Amazon fees, other channel fees, ever you can, right? It can be also cost of goods sold. You have wages. Payroll taxes, advertising is here, and of course, if you need to change any of these entries and wordings, you can do so. But here is where you want to get to the bottom line area where, if you're, this is all these numbers are made up, but there's just for illustration. Of course, if you're making $748,000 and net profit, this is where you are right now. This is great. And now that you're implementing all these strategies to reduce your fees, and then this profit jumps from 748 to 850, you're doing something right. This is your barometer. This is your North Star. This is the tool and vehicle that you can gauge everything that you're doing at any given time. So my recommendation was to use it every month if you can. Back in the day when I was selling online, I use this tool every month to see where I am, so I can really quickly know if the strategies that we're utilizing and doing on many, many levels, not just Amazon FBA fees, it can be also on advertising, it could be on employment, hiring, releasing people. We see if we're the right direction, if we're efficient as a company. So we did it every month, try to do that. If not, at least every quarter. Every quarter, you want to know where you are. You don't want to go just once a year, check out where you are, and then realize, oh my goodness, I lost so much money. And if so, you give yourself that opportunity to check it every month, every quarter. So if you see something is not working in your favor, you have a handle on it, you take firm action and quickly, okay, and run back to the profit lines. So this is a very important vehicle. I would do warmly recommend it for anybody. So if you need it, it's yours, it's free. It's getita.com/profit. We created this tool. It took years of experience to build this out, and it's available for you guys for free. So I hope you enjoy that. Okay, so here's another tip, which once again, this is kind of the bread and butter of what we are, Getita, as a company do. We audit Amazon accounts for FBA discrepancies. On a high level, there's two types of discrepancies. There's logistical discrepancies and there's financial discrepancies. Logistical discrepancies are, of course, when you ship your units to Amazon, you want to ship 1,000 units. Essentially, Amazon only received 990 units. So on a logistical level, they're missing 10 units. Getira, our technology, we find that, we catch that, and that's on the technological level. And then once we find an issue, it goes into the service team, right? We have an actual team that opens a case on your behalf. It tells Amazon, look, there's 10 units missing. Amazon investigates. Of course, if Amazon finds a missing unit, everybody's good to go. No harm done. If Amazon doesn't, what they're going to do is they're going to provide the seller a financial reimbursement. Okay, they're going to pay the seller, and sellers need to know that they're eligible to get reimbursement. So I gave you the simple example on the logistical level. More logistical issues can be once your units are already inside Amazon's warehouse, things can get lost, damaged, destroyed, or simply disappear. Of course, between Amazon's warehouses, they want to ship, they transfer it from Kentucky to California. Things happen there. From the Amazon's warehouses to the consumers, to the customers, things happen there. Consumers back to Amazon, Amazon back to the seller. All these logistical friction points, things happen. You need to audit for that. Okay, and just Amazon will auto reimburse you for things that they find. Okay, but they do it. They need 30 days to do so. So whatever they don't do after 30 days, they tell you, if you look closely into their terms of service, they're going to tell you, we're going to auto reimburse you within 30 days for anything that happens. Beyond that, it's up to you, the seller, to check us out. And of course, if you find an issue, let us know. We're going to pay you a reimbursement. And we touch the this is where we touch the logistical types of issues. Of course, financial discrepancies are, let's say, Amazon is picking a unit from the bin and packaging it, the pick and pack fees. They have the wrong information. Instead of charging you $2.50 per unit, like we saw with the example, they're charging you $10 a unit. So every time that you sell a unit on FBA, you're being overcharged $7.50. That's a financial discrepancy. This Amazon doesn't auto reimburse. They usually don't catch at all. So this is up to you, the sellers alone, to actually track and monitor and audit. And of course, if you find that Amazon is overcharging you financially on pick and pack fees, for example, or storage fees, or product placement fees, any fees that are related to the wooden dimension, what you want to do is open a case, tell Amazon to update the information right away. So going forward, you stop the bleeding and you enjoy all that savings. And of course, if and for this type of fee, by the way, pick and pack overcharges, Amazon gives a window of 90 days to get a reimbursement. So we do recommend every 90 days to do that checkup so you can get your money back. Because if you do, let's say, only once a year, and Amazon on the yearly level, they charge you 100 grand, overcharge you 100 grand, $100,000 with pick and pack fees. And in the last 90 days, they charge you 30,000. You're only going to get 30,000. The remaining 70,000, you're never going to get back. Okay. So high level statistics, FBA discrepancies can range between 1 to 3% of your annual FBA revenue. Okay. 1 to 3%. So if you do $1 million on Amazon FBA a year, your discrepancy rate can range between $10,000 to $30,000. That's substantial money. Okay. On a general level, Amazon, for most types of issues, gives a window of 18 months to look back. So you can go back a year and a half to check all these transactions that happen, things that got lost, damaged, destroyed, disappeared, stuff like that. That's for most issue. When you ship stuff to FBA, the inbound, that's limited to 9 months. Okay, and well, like I mentioned, the when and dimension overcharges, that's 90 days. So high level, you got 18 months, 9 months, and 90 days. But usually, most of the issues is bound out to 18 months. So do not miss out. Do not miss out. Okay, because if you don't get the maximum reimbursement that you deserve from FBA, from Amazon, as a seller, you kind of lose twice. The first thing you're losing is your money, is the money that you invested into the products, into the inventory. And the second thing you're kind of losing is your profit. Because when Amazon is very nice, when Amazon pays a reimbursement, they pay you, the seller, as if you sold that unit on Amazon. And most sellers usually sell the items with a healthy profit. Okay, so if you let all these eligible reimbursement expire, not take care of it, you're going to lose twice. Once again, you lose out inventory, the cost of investment, and your profit. So so you can. This gives you an opportunity to shift a negative momentum, a double momentum, which is negative, into a double positive momentum. And we do encourage sellers to try out on their own, to open cases, as much as possible. Okay, do it on your own. But when you do it, make sure all the claims are accurate and they meet Amazon's terms of service. Don't open like hundreds of cases every day and you have no idea what you're talking about. If they're not well researched and you get denied all the time, it's not going to reflect well on your account. So we do encourage the sellers to do as much as they can on their own. And then what we can do for you guys, Gatira, you reach out to us. Whatever you left behind, whatever is basically unclaimed, we're going to be able to claim it for you, find it for you, and get you that value. And once again, you're not going to pay us anything up front. You only pay a fee if we're successful. You pay a 25% fee. So the idea is that you guys do whatever you can do. We don't want any piece of that. We want to give you the value of something that wasn't there before and share it with you. That's kind of the philosophy of what we do. So it's very, very comfortable for all sellers to try out. And here's kind of a case study to learn about the impact that a good auditing could do for your business. Okay, so here's a real case study. There's a seller that does about 18 million. Okay, they sold 300,000 units. About 9,000 units got affected. Okay, which is in the higher range of the spectrum. It's about 2.8% discrepancy rate. Gatito, we helped them find, claim back about 1.5% in reimbursements. Okay, 1.3% actually Amazon gave them, and we were able to find more than Amazon auto reimburse, which is 1.5%, which translated to 151,000 in actual money. Okay, that we're able to recover for them, and that 151,000 impacted the gross profit, basically the bottom line, by 11%. So that 1% that we found bounced the bottom line by about 11%. And here's the numbers. So the gross profit before Gatita was 1.3 million, and we added about 151,000. So 151 divided by 1.3 million pushed it up by about 11%. So this is the immediate impact that you see if you know with good auditing. And obviously the reason why it's so impactful is because all your cost structures will stay the same, and all the money that gets returned back to your business is pure value. It's just juice. There's no, you know, you don't get any more cost. It's just money from the dead, right? So on an immediate level, you see the impact. But I wanted to discuss two more points where it can be really, really impactful. Is over here. You can see there could be a 3x to 5x impact when you want to sell your Amazon business, right? You want to sell your Amazon business, and usually when you sell your Amazon business, the way the buyers buy the business is they tell you, okay, I want to see your profit. You know, if you made $1 million a year profit, okay, I'm going to pay you 3x, 4x, 5x on that profit, and that's how I'm going to buy you out. So if you made $1 million profit, I'll buy your Amazon business for 3 million or 4 million or 5 million. Usually that's kind of the ranges that we see currently in the market. So essentially, if you do good auditing and you get back 151,000, that 151,000, if you give the multiple, you know, 3x, 4x, 5x, it's worth like 450 and beyond, right? That's an impact. That goes into your pocket, which is amazing. So it's very important if you're about to sell the business, audit your account, do it yourself, do an outreach, reach out to companies who help with this. There's a bunch of them. It happens to be the Getira is one of them. So we'll be happy to help you if you need help. But do it. It's really recommended. And the second thing is, of course, if you're buying an Amazon business, so you bought a new account, you're excited, you got it, and the seller that you bought it from never audited their account, you're going to be able to go back 18 months and grab all that value out. And imagine you bought it, you bought the business for $1 million, and you're able to get back 151,000. That improves your return on investment, ROI. It expedites it. It's pure juice for you. Right? Immediately, boom, you get a nice spike up in terms of cash to return the money that you invested into your new Amazon business. So high level, this is kind of the value and impact that good auditing can do on your account. So you guys can understand a bit better of the impact. And of course, if you need any incentive to try this out, once again, it's free to join Gatita. But if you want a little bit more incentive, we prepared a special offer for you. And this is exclusive for Gary. You want to tell them who and what is this exclusive for?
Yeah, so we have an exclusive offer for our all access pass holders. The first $500 in Amazon reimbursements, up to $500, you can get back for free by signing up through Gatita. So you can use our promo code for our all access pass members. Everybody watching today, 7FSSAA500. So 7FSSAA500 at Gatita.com to get that money back. So definitely take advantage of that, guys. That's like,
Yeah, it's
adding
you
more
know, you
money
try this out
back
no
to your
matter what.
pocket.
It might take us a few days, a few weeks, or a few years. No matter what, $500 we're gonna get back for you. Okay, so you're gonna have extra $500, in your pocket, so you can try this out. If you get a good experience, you're welcome to stay. If you want to leave afterwards, that's okay as well. We're just here to help, and our philosophy and message is that our mission statement actually is to empower the seller community. Okay, we empower you because the more we empower you, we give you everything that you need to succeed. The more we succeed, okay, and you're gonna last for years to come, and so will we. Of course, if there's any questions after the event or after the show, feel free to reach out directly. This is my email address. It's yonim@gatita.com. You can also visit the gatita.com. There's a chat bot. You can always reach out. Usually we have people amending it there, or the contact us page. We're here to help. And beyond the reimbursements, beyond the money, of course, if you become a Gatita client, a Gatita member, we act as a community, and there's a culture behind the company. So, if you ever get stuck with suspensions, logistics, finance, stuff like that, you can always reach out. If we can help you ourselves, we will. But if not, we'll at least give you direction where to go to trusted, sources and partners that we have in the industry. So you can go there, and they can help you as well. We see a lot of impact when people they come together, they work together, they help each other. It just creates amazing results and synergies and friendships also along the way. So we're here to help. We're very friendly, and we're at your service. And that's pretty much it at this point.
100%. Thank you so much, Yoni. Awesome presentation. And I agree with your values. I mean, it's very in line with why I created the Seven Figure Seller Summit, to surround ourselves with like-minded entrepreneurs looking to create their e-commerce businesses. So definitely look into that if you're interested in getting more money back. Okay, so we have a couple questions. Let's get to the live questions first. First off, from Trisha. I've noticed a few reimbursements for a damaged item, and then the reimbursement was reversed. If an item is damaged, not sure why it was reversed. Do you know why this could be?
Yeah, so that's a very, very good question. It's a good catch, Trisha. So it's a little dicey, but I'll try my best. Okay. When Amazon provides you a reimbursement, there's two ways it can reimburse you. The overwhelming majority of times, they give you cash money, like 96, 7% of the time, right? They give you money. So let's say they give you money, but sometimes they also, instead of money, they'll give you inventory. Okay. So let's say it's a Nike, it's shoes, right? They lost it, they damaged it. They can either give you, the Nike is worth $100. They might give you $100, or Amazon has Nike, so they just give you a Nike and inventory instead. So what can happen is, let's say they start with cash, they give you $100. Maybe a few weeks later, a few months later, they get the actual unit. They can say, let's reverse it from cash into inventory. So you still get the value. On a balance sheet, if you're an accountant and you do a balance sheet, when you go to assets, you have cash and you got inventory. So either way, they reimburse you. So Amazon treats it as an asset, and they're right. So there's either cash or inventory. So they might play with it, or sometimes they're going to start with inventory, and they're going to say, oh, let's take that Nike back. We'll give you $100. They have their reasons. No, it's not too clear why. That's so all these reversals. Just check if they reverse it from cash to inventory or vice versa. If they did, you're whole. If they didn't, that's extremely rare where they just give you money, like $100, and then they just take it away. That's extremely rare. If that happened, you can reach out to me so we can take another look, and maybe you can tell them, hey, what'd you guys do? And that's another reason to ask for a reimbursement. That's another discrepancy basically, and this is a financial discrepancy. There's actually another way to look at it. Sometimes we find that Amazon says, oh, we apologize, here's your reimbursement, and they give you a reimbursement ID. But lo and behold, after a few days or even a few weeks, they never process it. They approved and everything, never clutched. So you're gonna open, hey, Amazon, here's your, remember that case, remember that reimbursement ID, please process the payment, and boom, they do it. So a good practice is to always have your eyes on what's going on, and clearly you do. So I'm impressed by that. Good for you, and I hope this kind of answers the diciness of the situation.
Excellent. Great question. And thanks for that, Trisha. All right. And we have another question from Mofo Lake. As a new seller on Amazon, is it worth auditing your account as you have not grown your sales yet?
It's an excellent question. So when you say auditing your account, you mean yourself or a service provider? If you do yourself, and there's really no activity, there's nothing to audit. So it's the answer is in the question. There's no activity, nothing really to audit. So but let's say you did create a bunch of sales, you can do that, not a problem. You get $10 back, $100 back. You do the math if it's worth it for you, because the value of your time. But of course, reaching out to companies like Atita, you plug and play. If we find something, you'll pay us. If we don't find it, it's nothing. So we make it brainless. So even if you haven't sold a penny, you can sign up to Getira, and as you grow in volume and the whole thing starts to generate, you have already hawk eyes, honing on all the issues, and they have your back. So that's kind of that's helpful. So you plug it. You can focus on growth, on marketing, or whatever it is to generate the sales. Us or other companies will have your back. So the answer is it's multi-layered, depends on who's auditing, and hope that helps.
Yeah, definitely. And then if I can just add to that, I agree that, it's up to you whether you decide to outsource this to, someone like Akita or, someone else like a bookkeeper or whatever. But I think no matter what, you have to keep your eyes on the bottom line, right? I mean, sorry for the background noise. Harrison is here.
I
He
love that.
said
I love that
hello.
noise. I feel at home. No, I have 3 kids. I just feel great. So don't worry
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
So I mean, going back to your question, Mofo, like I feel that it's that saying by Peter Drucker, right? Whatever gets measured gets managed. Whatever gets measured gets managed. So even if you're starting out, it still makes sense that you got to watch your numbers, right? I remember like my first shipment, I was like paying close attention, waiting for those 500 units to get inbounded so we can start selling, right? But maybe they only inbound in 490, but it's up to you to pay attention to audit that. Otherwise, you're going to lose, 10 items off the bat, right? So, I mean, no matter what you do, I recommend, you should pay attention to the numbers, whether you do it yourself or you outsource it to someone like Atita. All right. So I hope that helps. Okay. So we have some time for some more questions, and we do have some pre-submitted questions, and I'd like to get to those as well. And for people watching, if you have any other questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. So one of the pre-submitted questions for you, Yoni, is Um, what do you think? What do you think about strategies for selling at premium prices in the U.S.? Do you have any strategies? Based on your personal experience, I know you ran a $200 million Amazon business and you work with many successful sellers. Do you have any strategies you can offer there?
Yes. It's a great question. There's many ways to answer this. But obviously, if you basically let's think about it for a second. You're asking for people to, I guess, pay more for a product they can probably pay less, by a competitor. How do you get them to do it? So every type of product has its own psychology. So what you got to do as a retailer or as a brand or as a marketer is go into that psychology and try to figure out what will be the reason that will pay you. What's going to be the underlying marketing message for them to say, hey, I want the Nikes. I don't want the $15 shoes from I can get from any on a flea market. There's a reason for that. So that's a high level question, and there's multitude layers of ways for you to choose from. But if we talk about fundamentals, try to get into the head of your consumer. So many companies, what they do, they create an avatar, or a bunch of avatars. What's the typical profile or profiles of the consumer that would want or need this? Okay, and then it's very analytical. So if you do a good analysis, and some companies, they go even beyond. I know, especially big companies, Nike, Adidas, before they launch a really innovative, a new product, they do the avatar, but they also do a test run, or they do questionnaires. They really want to see the feel. They want proof of concept, so to speak, before they launch it. So they have a good idea of how much statistically they'll be able to capture in the market, at least at the offset, and they know it's worth it for them, and they can charge a premium because these are brands. Shoes are shoes, but the brand is what allows you to be able to charge more. So it's a very deep, broad, high level question, but to give you something to hold on to, try to get to the psychology, try to do some analysis. What would make your client for that specific product pay more, and try to achieve it, whatever it is. If it's because it has maybe an extra function that you're able to create, or the warranty, or whatever you can to differentiate, that would be a good place to start for you. And of course, make sure you're effective. Don't just expect to throw a PPC on Amazon and then everybody will know, you're the best of the best, and that's why you can charge a few pennies or a few dollars or a few hundreds of dollars more for your product. You're probably gonna have to build something around it. It could be influencers, social media, magazines. There's so many ways to market things, and it really depends on the end user or the end consumer. So try to find where these end consumers live mentally and where they absorb marketing messages, and try to drip it in. And if you're effective, it's probably going to work.
Yeah, that's great advice, Yoni. And if I can add, I recommend that the person that asked the question, Zadrunas, I recommend Zadrunas to check out the session from Chris Davey. He's a seven-figure seller, and he kind of has this strategy where it's like an up and down strategy, right? If everyone is selling at a really down, like low price, he looks up. He goes to a high up market price. He says, like, there was that quote by Steve Jobs. He says, like, coach and first class on a plane, they land at the same time, right? Think about it. You can pay coach, or you can pay first class, but you're landing at the same time. You're
You
still getting
eventually
paid.
get the same utility. We moved from A to B, same utility. That's
Yeah,
your objective, and you got it.
exactly, right? But some people are willing to spend that extra couple $1,000s, right? Maybe they want the experience, maybe they want the champagne, maybe they want the quick check-in, or something
The
else, right?
status,
So
even just to say, they don't really care, but
yeah,
they just say, I fly first class, business class, or I wear
yeah,
Gucci, I have an iPhone instead of just a generic phone. Status.
yeah,
The
yeah,
psychology,
exactly,
status. What stat I can say that I'm telling you, this is the best. These guys
yeah,
charge the most,
yeah,
and they're the most quality, and because of it, that's why I buy it. You have a whole
yeah.
class like that, but you have to get into their psyche.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so we hope that helps, Rajunas. And then next question from Trisha. Cheers, Yoni. If I can ask another question, how successful can it be to follow up on missed fulfillment promise refunds where Amazon failed to deliver the product to the customer in time? I.e., are we likely to recover these funds? And if so, how long after the notification?
Okay, once again, I salute you. Very painful subject to Amazon sellers. Unfortunately, I bear bad news. There's no reimbursements for that. Meaning, if Amazon FBA, right, Amazon was supposed to ship the product and deliver it within a day or two, and they missed the fulfillment promise, and because of that, the customer wants to send it back, that's on you, the seller. Amazon is not gonna reimburse you for the fees that they charge you, and that's something, unfortunately, that sellers have to swallow. I bear no good news on this regards, and I do apologize on behalf of Amazon. What can I tell you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is helpful to know. At least we know the rules of the game, right? We can't expect it to go beyond that time window. So that's why it's even more important for us
Yeah, I guess it's
to
a
follow.
trade-off. Essentially, if you do, and if I can, I guess, be the devil's advocate, is that FBA comes with so many benefits. If this is one of the weaknesses, usually sellers are able to overcome this. It's not the prevailing rule. It's Amazon doesn't miss the fulfillment promises all that often.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a great question, and thanks for that, Trish. I hope that helps. And we had a pre-submitted question from Janice, and she asked how to interpret Amazon's rules, which I think this is a very important question. Yoni, is there somewhere we can like just read all the fine print and get educated about all the rules of the game?
Yeah, a lot of rules, big game, a lot of rules. So if
Yeah.
somebody does have the endurance and the stamina to do it, you go to Sell Essential, top right. There's a search box and terms of service, and then you're gonna have a hell of a ride. Listen, Amazon is famous and kind of notorious at the same time to have extensive terms of service and rules and conditions to sell on the platform. So many layers and so many multitudes, and many parts of them are just simply very vague. Does it mean this? Does it mean that? It tend to be very vague. Even, God forbid, and unfortunately, when sellers get suspended, they don't really sometimes understand what's the problem, because they tell you you had an issue that might be 5 issues. You don't know exactly which one, but for all these 5 issues, do a plan of action, and the plan of action include this and this and that and that and that. And they do, and you go this whole back and forth process. It's very vague, very smoky, very hazy. Nobody knows what's going on, and it's not comfortable. So I guess the question was, what's the best practice or best strategy to deal with, to understand or interpret Amazon's rules, right? What was the question?
Right. Right. How to interpret Amazon's rules.
Right. So it's very hard to interpret some of the rules. Some of them are very clear. If they tell you can't sell figs, like an iron, it's a golden rule. You don't sell figs, no matter what. So try to be strict with yourself. The more you get strict with yourself, and you try to say, you think maybe Amazon can be lean or more tough about it, always judge them to be tough about it. Because if you think they're always tough about it and you prepare yourself and you act accordingly, most likely you're gonna have a smooth ride within the Amazon world and selling on Amazon. If you're gonna try to test the limits and try to say, I'm not sure, but let's go on the light version and play things and do gray stuff or black hat tricks, stuff like that, and all of a sudden you're gonna get all these hits. Don't be surprised. The line is very thin and it's smoky, but try to be harsh on yourself. That's the advice I could tell you. We used to be very harsh on ourselves, and the reason is, if you look, if you step outside and kind of zoom out on the whole experience for you as an Amazon seller, your Amazon account is such an important, valuable machine. This machine, this digital machine, is a machine that generates income for you, money, right? So you wanted this to be the most premium, cared for machine that you ever had in your whole lifetime. Whatever it is, it needs oil, you give it oil. It needs good standards, you give it good standards. It needs quality, you give it whatever it is. Don't be lazy. Don't try to cut corners. Walk the straight path. The more you do it, the more you're gonna eventually get rewarded long term. If you're gonna trade all these shortcuts and try to get immediate stuff like that, you might find that it's quicksand. So the ones that I can clearly see that are in the game for a long time and successful, they're really such honest, straightforward. Almost. You have the German engineer mentality. It's just everything in its right spot. Like a Mercedes, like a BMW. That's kind of a mindset I would recommend having as it pertains to interpreting Amazon's rules.
Yeah, great advice. Thanks for that. And we have a question from Mark DiPaula. Hi, Yoni. Trying to sign up now, but it looks like I already have an account. Can we still use the promotional offer?
You send me an email directly. I'll take a look. Yeah, I mean, if not, if you don't have any other, I mean, I don't know if you already signed up from the first presentation I did with Seven Figure Seller Summit, but if you haven't, yeah, I mean, I'll take care of you. I probably will be able to help you. If you already have an account, it's a good standing, and you want to enjoy this benefit, by all means.
Thanks for that. So we're almost out of time. All right, so thank you everybody for joining today. Mofo Lakes says thank you. Trisha says thanks for all your help, Yoni, even when they were hard answers to swallow. I just hope that this is helpful to all you guys. And Yoni, can you let everybody know what's the best way to connect to you if people want to learn more?
My direct email is yonim@gatita.com, which is YONIM for mama @gatita.com. You can email me directly, or you can always visit gatita.com. Tell them, hey, where's Yoni? I'm looking for Yoni. Usually you'll be able to find me. But if you can also on the chat level or just contact us page, just submit your questions. We usually reply within same day, next day. If it's a weekend, maybe a little more. But we try to answer. We try to have every stone taken care of, and nothing gets left behind. That's kind of something we're committed to, and that should be enough for you guys to get hopefully what you need.
Perfect. And again, Yoni graciously offered the $500 in free Amazon reimbursements through Gatita. You can sign up either through the link that we shared earlier, or you can go to Gatita and you can use the promo code 7FSSAA500 to get your up to your first $500 back, so you can get more money in your pocket. All right. So thank you, Yoni, for coming back. Really appreciate all your support from Gatita to helping us make the summit such a success, and hopefully we'll be able to work together continuously in the future. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Again, make sure pay attention to the bottom line, guys. It's not just about the top line. So I hope everything that Yoni shared today is helpful, and you're able to at least maybe just take one nugget away and apply that to your business. It could be thousands of dollars more for your pocket. All right. So stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you guys soon. All right. Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Yeah. See you guys.
Good luck.
Bye.
Bye-bye.